For the final time, this movie may feature a four-headed shark at first, but about halfway into the film it turns into a five-headed shark. So keep the comments to yourself. People can be so impatient sometimes. Five-headed shark attack. Don't know why I bought the Blu-ray too, since both of them are region B. But speaking of region B, the only region A version you can get is on the Shark Attack pack, which includes Five-Headed Shark Attack, Planet of the Sharks, and Empire of the Sharks. So it's a steal. It's like $10, but I wish it came on an individual DVD, especially because the next installment, Six-Headed Shark Attack, came out on an individual DVD. Like, what the heck, man? This is the third installment in the multi-headed shark franchise that pretty much has no continuity. But before we get into it, make sure to check out my book, Chomp, which was written in time, thank God. This is a killer shark book that I wrote, and I'd be honored if anyone would check it out and give me feedback on my second book, my first being Wild Man. The links to purchase it on Amazon on paperback and or Kindle are in the description below. Let's get into the review. The plot. A four-headed shark makes its appearance out of nowhere, attacking a boat full of photographers and their models, and a couple cops go out to see what the heck happened, and they find a camera with a picture of a four-headed shark attacking the group. Done deal, that's what it is. Move on. No, they have to go to an aquarium to ask advice to see if they had a reasonable reason. Could this be just a shark frenzy? Which did make kind of sense until you look at the picture and you can see they're all connected. Anyways, now the aquarium's out after the shark, along with the help from some of the police. They hunt the shark hunts them, the shark attacks a beach and a whale-watching ship, but other than that, it's kind of just straightforward. This story has so much wasted potential, but let's see how it's executed at least. So this time they either had more money to work with, better video software, or just vastly improved their CG modeling and making skills, because the effects are pretty dang solid for a low-budget TV shark film. While that is a strong point, there are many issues I had with this film. Now, the characters are not god-awful, and so the acting isn't potty poor. I was going to say PISS, but that's a flare. But there are some things that could have been improved upon. The first main characters we are introduced to are some authority figures. Way to go! You finally incorporated some law enforcement into your multi-headed shark franchise. However, they don't do much. Another thing I liked was that the shark was more out in the open. It was in public areas, not just trapped on some island or in the middle of nowhere that was surrounded by islands. I forgot to mention that. In 3 of the shark attacks, they're driving on a boat and they're trying to like, where are we going to get to land? There's islands on either side of you. I know the shark can get up on land, but just keep walking or running. But back to this movie, the law enforcement, it's pretty cool to have in this movie because, like I said, it introduces that aspect as well as some characters, I guess. Too bad the acting and action is kind of weak on the police part. I mean, there is a scene where the shark's hiding underneath the boat and they can't detect it for some reason. It's like, I'm sure on the sonar it would show your boat plus a massive object on the outsides of it. Fins, head, tail, you know, whatever. And you would have had to have seen it go under your boat if you were staring at the fish finder the whole time. And back to the police. Their names are not even listed on IMDb, I don't think. I couldn't find them. About a quarter of a way into the film, we are introduced to Red. And, it's Surfer Quint. He's played by Chris Bruno, and I just love calling him Surfer Quint because he's like a dude bro. But he tries to act like Quint in some scenes. He even has the Quint speech, naturally. He has some life to him, some charisma, which does elevate the film just a little bit. However, he doesn't have much presence. Like, he tells the Quint-style story, and I didn't care. We gotta go get this shark. I don't feel it. I don't feel the anger and the passion and the drive to go get this thing. Besides being a fun-looking and acting character, it doesn't add much to the story. I mean, he's there to drive him to get the shark, but if they already had a law enforcement, why do you need... man, maybe the boat? I mean, they already had a boat and it didn't get destroyed. What's stopping you? Why do you need to hire someone that... Oh, that's right, because you need to have a love interest for the main actress. Yeah. He would have worked better if Jaws hadn't already existed. Nikki Howard plays Dr. Angie Yost. Red refers to her as Dr. Yo, which I thought was actually kind of funny. Anyway, Nikki does bring a sense of protection to her character. She doesn't want more people to die than the ones that have already died. She does have some decent acting with genuine fear when it comes to the safety of her students. Speaking of her students, the surviving ones go off to hunt the shark to avenge their fallen friends. I mean, well, it was a friend at first, and they kept on saying, "For Sean, for Sean." And then another one died, and they're like, "For Lindsay and Sean, Lindsay and Sean, Sean and Lindsay." It's like, oh my god, more than just those two people died. It's like Howard in the last movie. Howard? Howard, are you here? Howard? There's one other character here that I have to talk about, and that is Thaddeus Marshall, played by Jeffrey Holzman. He starts off as this greedy slime bag of a boss who only has the aquarium's benefits in his best interest. But about 3/4 of the way through, he has a revelation. He's been kind of a douche. He then apologizes for his slimy behavior and even aids in more of the hunt for the shark rather than the capture. Like, seriously, he threatened to use a dog as bait in one scene. There ain't no coming back from that man. He does have one of the best screams, though. He falls back and goes, "Wah!" It's hilarious. I feel the writers knew the script wasn't long enough, so they had him have a turnaround to try and make amends. But the rest of the characters are okay. None of them are terribly acted. I mean, some of them better than others, but hey, at least they're not dubbed. In terms of how the film looks, it has a great setting to work with. This was filmed in Puerto Rico, and the establishing shots are gorgeous. Too bad that the film doesn't really utilize them. There's barely any beach attacks. Most of them are on the water. Come on, there was potential. It was ripe for the picking. They could have done more, but I feel this film does have one other strong point that really shines. The gore, the effects. People are torn in half, chomped down on, and just ripped to shreds. There was a decent amount of CG blood, but still blood, and I was happy with that. The CG people models were funny to look at too. I mean, they looked like they were just being shook around. This is probably one of the gorier multi-headed shark movies in terms of actual body ripping. I mean, there's a lot of blood on the other ones, and two-headed shark attack and five-headed shark attack have a lot of body ripping, so it's kind of a contender right there. Maybe two-headed shark attack's a bit gorier because of all the practical stuff. Steve Clark supervised the effects work in this film. I'm sure a lot more people worked on this film though, because it feels really special. Two-headed had some subpar but fun effects. Three-headed improved on the design but lacked in the red stuff. And five-headed looks great and provides on the gore. I like the teeth design too. They're short, but I feel like they could do a lot of chomping damage, like cinder blocks, you know? Also, there's a humpback whale in the movie, and it's really cool because we've only had a megamouth other than like an actual big ocean animal. That there are things being tested on in the laboratory in three-headed shark attack, but in five-headed shark attack, the shark actually interacts with the big animal and attacks the humpback whale. It's an awesome scene. I mean, I feel bad for the whale, but it was pretty amazing. But the effects, I have to say, are not as good as like a big budget movie. No, not at all. But for a low budget movie, wow. The motion picture soundtrack, Christopher Canu and Chris Ridenhour bring another great musical identity to the film. The third one had dun 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 dun. This one has brum 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 brum. But it also uses the theme for three-headed shark attack, which is cool. It was well done, and I give them props. It's a great-looking, okay movie. While I had some fun with a few of the characters, they did become rather annoying in parts. The acting was passable with some standouts like Red was a bit of a standout, and Thaddeus, I thought he was funny as hell. There was some good gore and dang good effects for the budget. It had a well-composed score, however the story was really stretched thin. The plot mattered a little, and the characters were a bit too serious. Like, oh my god, my friend has died. How? We gotta go get the shark. It's so important. You gotta feel bad for us. I had to say this is one of the stronger multi-headed shark movies. It doesn't necessarily suck, but it needed a lot of work. Overall, I give 5-headed shark attack a 1.5 out of 5. It was so close to a 2. It's not even funny. I was like, it just didn't have enough fun scenes like 3-headed shark attack did. So I had to give it the same rating as 3-headed shark attack because it added more on other stuff, but lacked in other stuff. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon, where even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you'll get access to body counts and other music videos that are not on YouTube because of copyright and age restriction. Also hit that notification bell, and as always, subscribe.